Hi, and welcome to Western Culture Explained. It brought to you by the Taichung Keda Language Center. I'm your host, Martin. Today we will talk about a Western political and economic philosophy that has had a huge impact all over the world, and it is somewhat controversial. So if you get upset by today's episode, you can send all of your complaints to Chairman Mao. He will help you address your complaints. All right, today's episode is about socialism. Let's get started.
What is socialism? It's hard to say since there is no single agreed upon definition. But in a nutshell, it's a political and economic system where the means of production are collectively or cooperatively owned by society at large. It sounds a lot like communism, but it's a little different. Under communism, all means of production are communally owned without the need for a government. Under socialism, the government owns and controls most things. It regulates and manages the economy, sometimes with disastrous effects. Take Venezuela, for example. Karl Marx believed that socialism was an intermediate stage between capitalism and communism. Communal ownership is an old idea. It has been around since the beginning of civilization. The political philosophy of socialism as we know it dates back to the early 1800s. The Industrial Revolution created a new class of people, factory workers. They often worked long hours in harsh conditions for little pay. Life for them was miserable. People started to criticize industrialization and demanded the government do something. There were several academics and politicians who started to write down and organize their ideas about this issue. People like Henri de Saint-Simon, Louis Blanc, Charles Fourier, and Robert Owen all tried to think of socialist solutions to the problems caused by industrialization. The infamous Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels added their ideas to socialist theory too. There were many socialist movements across Europe in the 1800s. The first modern labor unions formed and new political parties were created to represent the new working class. Many of the political parties of Europe, such as the SPD in Germany and the Labour Party in the UK, were born during this time period. But the socialist movement began to decline in the mid-20th century. The rise of communism and the threat posed by the USSR put people off socialist thinking, especially in the US, where the word socialist became an insult. Recently, however, socialism has made a comeback in the West. The rise in inequality over the past decade has made socialist ideas popular again. Strikingly, many young people in America now view socialism favorably. There are even politicians in America who are not afraid to call themselves socialists. It's too early to tell if this trend will last, though. Most countries in the world do have some social programs in place, including Taiwan, which has socialized health insurance.
Although socialist economies are quite rare, socialist policies are everywhere. Most countries in the world today have at least some social programs in place, including the United States, the country that thinks socialism is a dirty word. Even we have some social programs. So it would appear that socialism is here to stay. The only question is, how much or how little do we want to have? Thank you for watching. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.